Car Lifestyle Podcast
with host
Seth Rose from Exotics Rally,
Tminus, Gabe Florido
from Car Lifestyle.
I know, I heard about the trapdoor story.
He told me one day, he's like, yeah, you know, the guy that comes by, downstairs, we make it a nice down there for me. I was like, what do you mean? So then the guy was hanging out here one day, and he's like, you know, Pino, he lives by me. I said, oh. I said, at your house? And he's like, no, over at the pizzeria I own. I said, he lives at the pizzeria? I said, what do you mean? He's like, you know, like a downstairs. I have a little nook, and he like, a what? He's like a little space, and he lives down there. It's nice. I make it a nicer for him. I'm like, yeah. So you got you got this little Italian guy living downstairs underneath the pizzeria, and his name is Pino, as in Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know. It's so weird, but yes, there's a huge language barrier, and it is so annoying to talk to him.
I like it. I'm like, I feel like plum tomatoes or Marzano tomatoes are going to fly out of his mouth.
I don't know. All right, this is podcast number. What was the last one we did? Oh, so this is going to be 21. Okay.
You're going to be 21?
No.
21 years ago.
My girlfriend's going to be 21. Welcome back to podcast number 21.
Yeah, that's a little loud there, Seth.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Car Lifestyle Podcast number 21. My name is Seth Rose, and I am here with my co-host, Tminus.
Motherfucking Tminus.
Up in this bitch.
Up in this motherfucker.
So, we've had a little bit of a break, not going to lie. We've been taking it easy and very busy developing other businesses. And that's what's taking us away from the podcast. Not that we've forgotten about you or the podcast. We actually did record one a couple weeks ago with a guest for the next podcast, number 22. But this is our little in-between podcast. And again, we apologize for that it's coming out late, but better late than never. And never late would be better.
All right, Drake.
Every time I said, he's like, yeah, okay, Drake. Yeah, whatever. So, I don't know. Let's see. It's we finally have a bit of winter. Here in New York, we were very lucky. All through October, November, December, very mild weather.
Even January was pretty mild, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, January was very mild.
55 degrees. What?
I mean, we had some weekends that were 55, 60, 61 during the day. I mean,
yeah, crazy.
Outside wearing a short-sleeve shirt and sweating in the middle of December or January is completely unheard of here in the Northeast. And more recently, we have been blessed with not just a little bit of snow, excuse me, a lot of bit of snow.
Yeah.
Excuse me, we got dumped on by, like 2 feet one day?
Yeah, it was the first snow, really, of the season.
All right, keep talking. I got to take a drink of water.
Yeah. You got that shit in your throat. Fadi, where you at?
Very nice. Shout out to Fadi. Fadi, how you doing, baby?
Fadi Zaya, the Zaya group.
If you don't know Fadi, listen to our last podcast with Klaus Ettensberger from CEC. Check us out. And SEMA, you'll meet Fadi. Anyway, we've been getting dumped on by snow. Back to that. Which last year we talked about. We got all these idiots out in their SUVs thinking that they can rule the world. And half of them are crashed.
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
Yeah, seriously.
SUVs will pass you at 80 miles an hour, and then 2 miles down the road, they're in an embankment.
I know, I love that. I always laugh.
It's like, really, okay, soccer mom in your Suburban.
Yeah, you know what it is? They think four-wheel drive means like unstoppable, which is true.
Yeah, they think...
But you can't stop.
Right, but they think four-wheel drive means it's like the snow didn't exist. Like you're okay. You could just drive how you would drive if there was no snow. And it just doesn't mean that. So, shout out to all you jackasses that crashed your all-wheel drive and SUVs during the winter. Sorry to hear that. So, I was trying to think about topics for today. And, a lot of people always ask questions about what I do for a living, and I got a lot of different things that I do. And one thing that I want to talk about, which, T-Minus and me don't necessarily agree on all the time, is a business that I've been doing for about 20 years. I took a short break between 2007 and 2011 where I had sold my previous business, and I own a repossession business. Now, some of you might not know what the repossession business is because you've lived a very, I would say, not modest, but a very silver spoonish kind of
Yeah.
life where you don't know what a repossession is. Well, it's more. There's more awareness of it than there was in the past. Repossession is when a person finances or leases a car. They have some sort of loan on it, and they do not make their payments in a timely fashion, and they are behind, and then they hire a company like mine to go out and repossess the car, which means retake it, take it back, and we bring it back and we give it back to the bank. Now, I've been doing this for 20 years. I took about a 4-year break, so about 16 years solid. And there's a lot of times when Tminus argues with me because he doesn't necessarily agree with this business or the model of the business.
The morals behind it.
So, T, why don't you tell me what your problem is with the business?
I think that some people's cars, that's all they have. They're behind on payments. And I don't know. I feel like...
Well, you've said to me, well, you've never been poor. You don't know what it's like. These people are down on their luck.
It's true. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
right, but
some people...
And my argument is...
You should be lenient towards. Like an old person or somebody, like handicapped. And I know your story with the handicap thing, whatever, but I feel like some people, like, legit, this is all they own. Like, Seth has repoed cars from people living in their cars. Like, legit, this is their only option. They've been evicted. They live in their cars.
There's other options, though. I have to argue that, though.
No, I don't, because they don't have a place to go.
Yeah, well, there are shelters. There are things that they can do.
They're going to get right into a shelter. What do you think? You just walk in the door, hey, what's going on?
So you think it's safer to live in a car?
I don't think I don't think anybody's thinking about safety.
Okay, so
I think when you're down and out and you don't have a place to live and you have to live in your car and worry about where you're going to use the bathroom, I don't think that you're thinking, oh man, what if a hurricane comes?
Well, let me tell you this story. I had a car out for repo, a Ford Explorer, and we found the car being parked in a mall parking lot. And when we finally found the car, there was a woman in it living with 2 children. And they had all their belongings in it. Turns out that when we went to repo the car, she was very upset, and she was saying that, she was a battered woman. She was beat up by her husband. She left him with the 2 kids, and she had nowhere to go, so she was living in the car. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, because now you're compromising the safety of 2 children by living in a car. This was in the middle of the winter. So now what? You're going to start the car to keep them warm? It's a great idea. Now you've got, possible carbon monoxide poisoning. What? Oh, and you what? Okay. He's giving me this look. But the truth of the matter is, it's not safe for kids to be living in a car.
It's not safe for them to be living on the street either. When you don't have options, you make the best of what you have. Right or wrong?
But they're not living in the street. They would either go to a shelter. They would be.
What do you like? What do you think that you just walk into the shelter and you're like, "Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I really don't have a place to live tonight. Can I sleep here?"
I'm sure there's other options. Listen,
there are no other options, bro. That's what you're missing.
Okay, well, guess what? I gave her other options.
Okay, that one person, but you have repoed from people in fucked up situations before.
It's my job.
I don't give a shit. Get another job.
Really?
Yeah, because you have like 30 other things you're doing.
Okay, well, guess what? It's my job. I didn't feel bad doing it, and what happened was I helped her out. I did help her out, and I got them gifts for Christmas, and I gave her money, and we got them into a hotel. Then she wound up getting into housing. Listen, there are a lot of things out there, and people just don't tap into those resources.
Maybe they don't have the common sense to do that. Common sense isn't common. Maybe they're so...
They obviously don't have common sense, because common sense would tell you shouldn't be living in a car with 2 children in a mall.
You're very insensitive. That's all
I'm not being insensitive. I don't think it's safe. I have 2 children, and it's not safe. I would never do that.
What would you do? But you're a lot more experienced with life and and things and options and this and blah.
Listen,
blah.
If you walked into the police department with 2 kids, and you said, "I have nowhere to go," do you think they say, "Well, I can't help you"?
Yes, I do. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely not. No way.
You want to bet on that?
No way.
Want to lose some more money today?
No way. No
really?
way.
You don't think they'd be like, "Oh yeah, well here's you could call these people and give them a number"?
I'm sure they would help them.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna assign somebody to your case and be like, "Hey, listen, Mark, you got extra room in the basement? You want to take these people in?
So the moral of this story is that Tminus doesn't agree with the repossession business because he thinks it's a very mean business.
That's
to people.
incorrect. I do agree with the repossession business. If you're taking it from somebody who's delinquent on their payment, and it's a Benz or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, it's obviously a leisure car, and it's not something that those people are absolutely needing to continue with their life. There's a lot of people in some fucked up situations, and if somebody's down and out on their luck and they finally land a job and this is the only means of transportation they can get to their place of employment, and you're fucking taking it from them.
Yeah, well, guess what? If they can't afford the car, they can't afford the insurance, and I'm sure they drive with no insurance, so then they're risking other people's lives.
Oh my God, dude. You're the worst.
How am I the worst?
Because, just don't add insult to injury,
I'm
bro.
not. What am I, the Antichrist here? I mean, come on.
Yeah, you are. I mean, don't add insult to injury.
I don't see how I'm adding insult to injury. It's a job.
The guy already has a shitty life. Let him be. Let him his piece of shit car be.
A guy who
He's not driving a Ferrari 458.
A guy can't find a job. He's walking the streets. He decides he's going to become a drug dealer. It's the only thing he could do.
No.
So the police shouldn't arrest him?
No, we're not talking about somebody who's doing a criminal act. We're talking about somebody normal.
Sitting in a parking lot with 2 children, you're endangering the welfare of those children all night long in the middle of the cold, in the middle of the winter.
When
What's
you
wrong?
don't have an option, it looks like one. You would know if you ever struggled, dude.
I've struggled.
Not that hard.
You haven't.
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't. I know. I was never homeless.
No.
Oh, okay.
You've always had a home.
Oh, yeah, always. I know. Yeah, all right.
You've never been stranded in a car like this woman with 2 kids.
But I have had that as an option. I have lived out of my car.
I don't think it should be an option.
Yeah, well, what you think should happen in the world and what is actually happening in the world are 2 different things.
Well, listen. You don't agree with the fact that I took a car. I think it was the right thing to do because guess what?
Look, I just said I'm okay with the business as the rest of the business.
Right, I'm talking about that particular incident.
Yeah. I think that's fucked up. I think that you should have just said, you know what? I don't need to take this. There's a fucking Mustang in the next town over. Let me go look for that. That's what I think you should
Why
have
should I
done.
take a Mustang?
Because you know what? Why should you take any car? Gives a shit what kind of car it is. Except when it's like some beat up pickup truck and it's the guy's only mode of transportation to hold down this job because he's trying to get back on his feet and you're fucking taking it from him. Take the Benz. Why not take the Benz?
Well, if you're making money...
Why not take the BMW?
If you're making money, you should be paying for your stuff.
Oh, yeah, and there should be world peace, too, Seth.
You shouldn't take loans on things you can't afford to pay for.
Okay. What do you need to tell in the whole populace of America that?
But then I wouldn't have a job.
No, you wouldn't have this extra job.
This extra job is a very lucrative job.
Right, which is why you justify it to yourself. You're like, those people should have paid their bills. I don't care. I'm just doing the right thing. I'm working for the bank. Bank says pick up the car.
When they don't pay their bills, it raises everybody's interest rate.
Wonderful.
So you're okay with that?
No, what I'm telling you is it's going to raise regardless. Just like you're like the people that are like, my tax money's going to the welfare, the welfare and this and that and blah, blah. And these people are milking the system and da-da-da-da-da. You know what? You don't have a choice of where your tax dollars are going. They're not worried about the politicians using private jets everywhere,
well, let me ask you,
or the $4 billion it costs to make a new F-16 fighter jet.
Do you think people that get assistance should be subject to drug testing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
What do you got to say now?
Nothing. I agree they should.
Right, because if I would have said no, you would have been like,
all
wow.
over that shit.
I know, yeah, I know.
I think that's ridiculous. You see these people, they go in, they're crackheads, and they're getting...
I think that if you're getting assistance, I think that you should follow the rules of the assistance. If the assistant says, we'd like to drug test you because we want to make sure that our money that we're giving you isn't appropriated for, drugs and
people
leisure.
Are saying that's not constitutional.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's ridiculous.
Oh,
so you should be able to get WIC checks and go give it to your local drug dealer and score some crack. That's crazy.
Right, that's fucked up. That's an abuse of the system that's trying to help you.
Right.
And I'm a firm believer in don't bite the hand that feeds you.
And not paying for your car is abuse of the system.
Not really, man. Yeah. I mean, you're what? You're not paying corporate America, who gets, federally bailed out when they fucking go bankrupt? Whose dollars do you think they're using? Your tax dollars to bail AIG out, to bail Ford out. Ford is actually the only company that didn't use.
That's right.
But I think robbing a mom and pop store is fucked up. robbing a chain store? I don't really care. I don't really care. Because I think about like the fat cats at the top of the company, and
Yeah, but you know what? So somebody robs a chain store, and now the price of those jeans just went from $149 to $159.
You know what? Those $159 jeans are fucking. That's a luxury item. You could be wearing $20 jeans. You could go to a thrift shop and get $7 jeans. Still jeans. Does the same shit.
Do you wear $7 jeans?
No, motherfucker, I don't.
What do you wear?
Polo. I wear polo.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. I'm broke.
No. That's you, bro. That's you.
I
Yeah,
got
I
the
know.
same pair of jeans for like 6 years.
Yeah, I know. Bro, I've been rocking the same jeans with no underwear for like 6 years.
Commando.
Yeah, no, I keep it real. It's like another layer that you have to take off. Fuck that.
Anyway, back to the repossession business. So that's the long and the short of it. He disagrees on certain people shouldn't lose their cars.
Correct.
I think that anyone who is delinquent should lose their cars. Now, I did have an instance where this was crazy. A finance company who finances equipment put an electric wheelchair out for repo. Which, when I got the order, my first reaction to it was, these people should really be ashamed of themselves. I mean, I wanted to like reach through the phone and choke them. But then I said, you know what? If I do that, they'll give it to somebody else. And that person, that other repo company, who knows? They could really be scumbags. So I said, I don't want to take that risk. So I said, no problem. I'll take the order. Make sure you tell me how much is behind and can they pay in order for it not to be repoed. And they said, sure. There's like, I think, and honestly, the numbers don't cross my mind at this point, but it was somewhere in the $2,000 to $3,000 range that they owed. So I took it, I got a certified check, and I paid it off for the people. And I went to their house, and I gave them the receipt that it was paid for, and I told them they would be getting the ownership paper in the mail.
Was that the one for the wheelchair?
That was for a motorized wheelchair.
Yeah, I mean, that's way beyond the right thing.
Yeah,
The right thing was just not take this guy's wheelchair.
Right, but see, the problem is if I don't take it, they might cancel it with me, give it to another repossession company.
So, okay,
those
so
people could be scum and go take it.
All right, so then let it happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, so you're okay with that?
no, I'm saying
You're okay with taking somebody's wheelchair?
No, I'm not.
I'm
saying don't be the one to take it. If somebody else is going to go and do that dumb shit, then go ahead, let them be. Don't you take it.
But it's okay if somebody else does?
No, it's not okay, but let them have their chances.
Oh, that's so bad.
Don't fucking take their wheelchair. What kind of fucking human are you?
Yeah. I would never.
Right. That's the point. But
because that's an extreme situation. But somebody that's living in their car.
But hold on a second. You're still saying, like, on one hand you're saying, well, don't be delinquent with your payments. I think anybody who's delinquent with their payments should take their shit. You don't know somebody's situation. If you're repoing a beat up piece of shit and that's all they have and blah blah, and you can see that, I'm saying, everybody's an individual. If it's a fucking, brand new Huracan, obviously that guy's delinquent and he's a fucking asshole. He didn't pay his bills. That's it. This is what a repo man does. He helps the banks. The banks lend out the money, and then people are delinquent. They don't want to pay. That's fucked up.
Well, you know what our motto is, right? We help people get back on their feet.
Oh, yeah, that is fucked up. See, like, you laugh about that. That's fucked up, though. You know what I'm saying?
That was funny. Come on.
No, it is funny, but it's, facetious.
But it's funny. It's very funny. So anyway, so that's my plight with Tminus on the repossession industry.
Yeah.
And we're always kind of arguing about this. Because this is what I do for a living. I guess half of my time, and the other half of the time I spend with Art of Rap and Car Lifestyle and the podcast and some other ventures that we're working on. But, the repossession business is a very lucrative business. It's really based on a large volume at this point. If anybody has any questions about it, you can always ask them. We'll answer them in future podcasts. You can reach us at podcast@car-lifestyle.com. That's podcast@car-lifestyle.com.
Don't send your address or your last name, because if you got anything in your house that's delinquent.
Delinquent, I'm coming to get it.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Right. No holds barred.
Seth actually said that he would repo his own mom's car.
Well, I did repo my accountant's car. who else did I repo? Well, I've repoed some celebrities. I'm not going to say their names, obviously, for privacy reasons. One of them, it was a Bentley.
Yeah, but like, say somebody's good to you.
Yeah.
Like, you got this plumber, he always comes over, he fixes your leaks, da-da-da-da-da, whatever. Don't repo that motherfucker's car,
This is what I
son.
do with anybody that I know.
Yeah.
This is what I do. I contact them and I say, look,
That's fair game.
Wait, let me finish. I contact them and I don't tell them the car's out for repo. I contact them and I tell them, hey, listen, just so you know, I was talking to my friends over at the bank and they said that, you're behind on your payments. They happened to mention that it could be going out for repo soon. So do us both a favor, make the payment so I don't get the assignment.
That's
and they'll
fair.
say, yeah, no problem. And I'll give them 2 or 3 days.
Wow, so generous. Wow, you really are such a humanitarian. Wow, 2 or 3 days. Woo.
And then when I find that they haven't, done what they're supposed to do, I'll call them back and I'll say, look, did you ever make those payments? And if they say they did and they lie to me, then I go take the car. If they say, no, I just need a couple more days, I'll lay off and I'll give it to them. But eventually it gets to a point where I'm just like, screw it. But you know what's crazy? Let me just tell you this. Do you know how many people, as soon as you take their car, the following day they come up with the money?
Of course.
That's ridiculous. They're crying.
It's not ridiculous.
I'm
Now,
broke. I'm in a bad time.
yeah, well, maybe they don't have the money for that right now, and they think they can get away with it. And then their only mode of transportation is now taken from them, and they're like, whoa, let me go borrow the money from John or my dad or mom, because they have to make it happen because that's their only thing. That's the only thing that's getting them to their job.
Well, here's a little tip for anybody out there who's struggling or having problems making their payments, or if you're behind. I've been in this business a long time, and the number one reason people's cars are repossessed is the lack of communication with your lender. So when the bank calls your house and you see on the caller ID it comes up as ABC Finance,
Yeah,
and
and
you're like,
you ignore it.
and you
Yeah.
ignore it and you don't answer the phone, that's just going to piss them off, and they're going to say, our collateral is at risk.
Right.
Let's go take the car. So 9 out of 10 times they will work with you. They don't want the car. You have to understand, the bank makes money off you making your payments.
Of course.
They don't make money on the repossession, because the way it basically goes is the car is repossessed. It comes back to my place. Now you've got the expense of the repossession. Now it goes to the auction. The auction's going to prep the car. They're going to sell the car. They're going to take a piece of the action. And whatever it sells for, the difference they have to come after you for. Excuse me. So it's a large process, and it's only going to cost you more money in the long run. They're going to sue you, get a judgment, and then, trust me, you'll never get another car loan. So it's in everybody's best interest out there. If you're having problems, call them. Call them. Don't wait for them to call you. Call them, and they'll work with you. Like I said, they make money off your payments, not off repossessing the car.
Yeah, they don't want the car. They just want the money. That's it. It's not
I
big deal.
want your car.
Of course you do.
So that's my tip of the day. And the repo business, again, interesting, lucrative. And I guess if anybody has any questions, knock yourself out. I'll answer them all. I love that business. Been around for a long time. Now, next topic. Let's get into some car topics. T, you want to talk about anything? I do.
What are you going to talk about? That new Ford GT?
Nope. New Ford GT, that's old news. We talked about that before.
No, but I know. But it's like getting closer to being released.
Well, we'll get to that because something interesting about it. Just 2 days ago, the company that makes my car, Spiker, has announced that they are going to be unveiling a new production car. This is not a concept car. A production car at the Geneva Auto Convention. Now, I think last year we said we were going to Geneva, didn't we?
We did say that, yeah.
And what happened?
We haven't gone.
Maybe we should look into tickets when we're done.
All right.
I'll go.
What are we going to do in Geneva? Eat
Switzerland?
some Wiener Schnitzel?
Yeah. Well, it's Switzerland, right?
Yo,
Geneva?
Switzerland is beautiful. You know what? I didn't know it was in Switzerland because I hadn't thought that far into it. And yeah, let's go.
I think we should really look into it.
I'm down.
I am. Okay, so now the new car is going to be called the Spiker C8 Prelator. It's Preliator. So now, if you didn't listen to our podcast with Victor Muller, which was an awesome podcast.
It was awesome.
I'm going to say, not to gloat, but I think it's one of our best.
Mm-hmm.
I suggest you all download it and listen to it. Spiker had emerged from bankruptcy way back when, and the bankruptcy was basically null and void. They recently relocated to England, and they are working on this new car. Now, the reason why it's called the C8 is, in my opinion, I believe that they are going to use the same power plant, the Audi, 4.2 V8, which they have an abundance of. So I'm sure they'll use that. And it looks like an interesting car. It's hard to tell by the little teaser that they put out, which was kind of cool that they did that, kind of like how Lamborghini does things. It's just the front of the car with the headlights. So we look forward to the unveiling of this. They're supposed to unveil it, like I said, at Geneva. Geneva is coming up. And, I'm so happy that the company is going to live on and be born again. So, Geneva Auto Show, let's see. Geneva Auto Show 2016. We are looking at, March 1st to the 13th, it looks like. Oh, from the 3rd to the 13th of March. So, we don't have that much time. We need to really get cracking on tickets if we're going to go. I wonder if we can get tickets.
What is it, March when?
March 3rd to the 13th.
It's going to be a busy month for me.
Why? What do you got?
PC Blast.
Hogwash.
No,
Geneva's more important.
We're already contracted in, like it's already a wrap.
No, I know. well, let's see what happens. We'll see what dates and how it falls in. Maybe we can escape to Switzerland for a little bit, because that is like the cream of the crop of auto shows.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
Definitely like
that's like where all the crazy unveilings are.
It is. Now, Tminus mentioned before the Ford GT. So, what a lot of people don't know is that in order to get a Ford GT, it is a process.
Yeah.
So, the 2017 Ford GT ordering process requires a lot. So I'm going to read some of this that is online because it was released, and it says, are you interested in a new Ford GT? Well, better start getting your affairs in order, because you won't merely be able to walk into your neighborhood Ford dealership and pick one up the same way you would, say, grab a new Ford Focus. Ford is setting up a process by which owners have to apply to purchase a 2017 Ford GT. When accepted, these buyers will then be led through a special ordering process to be completed at a Ford GT certified dealership nearest them. So not all dealers are going to be selling them. The GT order the process has been confirmed. Each customer, should their application be accepted, which longtime Ford owners or those who bought the last Ford GT will have an upper hand, will be paired with a specific car before being personally walked through the ordering sequence. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They're saying that they're going to cost as much as $400,000, which
right.
that was said
we
from
knew
the
that,
beginning.
Right.
But, I don't know. I think they're pricing themselves out of the range, and I also think that it's going to be extremely difficult to buy. I was also told that you're not going to be able to sell the car for the first 12 months, kind of like a Ferrari-type move. How do you feel about that? If you buy something, like a Ferrari LaFerrari,
yeah,
and you spend $1.8 million on a car, do you think you should have the right to sell it?
Absolutely.
Well, Ferrari says no. For the 18 months, you cannot sell it or retitle it.
Yeah, for 18 months. Who doesn't want to keep a LaFerrari for 18 months?
Well, one just went up for sale on DuPont Registry for $4.7 million.
Bro, cop that shit.
I can't afford that shit.
Yeah, okay. Just 15 minutes ago, you were talking about copping a 60-foot boat.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about. This guy makes up things all the time.
Yeah, I make it up.
It's really crazy. You know what we could talk about? I could talk about the car that I just bought. Tminus looks at me with.
Oh yeah, no, I remember now. I'm like, what? You bought a car? Like what?
I bought another car. That's right.
Yeah.
I came across a nice deal, and I picked up a 2014 Chevrolet Corvette C7 Stingray. Now, a lot of people would say, Seth, really? You bought a Vet? But I got to tell you, I am super impressed with this car.
Yeah,
if you haven't driven a Vet, now's your chance because I bought this Vet for a reason. This Vet I bought because I opened up a new company called My Vet Rental. So if you look up myvetrental.com, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter and all that kind of jazz. Obviously, we launched it. Now is really not the season when people are going to be knocking on my door to rent a Vet because we're in the middle of the winter. But it gave me time to prep and kind of mold the business. So we're starting off with one car. We're going to move into two and possibly more as soon as it gets a little busier. I've had a lot of inquiries. The pricing right now, we're at around $400 a day, which a lot of people keep barking on Facebook from out of state saying, oh, but Hertz does it for $299 a day or $275 or $195. That is correct, but here's the problem. You cannot rent a Vet from Hertz or any of these other rental car places in New York metropolitan area. Because of the area that we're in, between the roads, between the conditions, and between the insurance, they will not allow you to rent it here. So if you want to go to Dallas, Texas and rent a Vet, by all means, knock yourself out. But if you're here in the New York metropolitan area, you want to rent a Vet, I'm going to be the go-to guy. But getting back to the car, I was super impressed. First of all, the driver position, extremely upgraded from those of prior years from C5 and C6.
Even the heads-up display, so on point.
I mean, the dash, the controls, the handling, the responsiveness.
Yep.
And you know what? The car feels, even though it's a front engine GT, the thing feels really light and nimble. And I'll tell you, I'm really impressed with the car. I never thought I'd be impressed like this.
Yeah, me neither, ever. When I got into drive it, I was like, whatever, Vet. And then I drove it, and I was like, I would buy this.
You know what? I'm gonna, when it's not rented, I'm gonna drive it.
Yeah,
it's a fun car. I mean, the Spiker is kind of hard to drive all the time
because it's so purpose built.
Not only that, but it looks and feels fragile.
Oh yeah,
it does. Even though it's really not. It's pretty. Is that a mouse running around the house?
Seriously, I'm glad that you heard it too, or else you'd be like,
"We heard."
Oh, what is that? Aliens?
We heard a mysterious noise. That was.
It's got to be a mouse. It's got to be.
I sure hope not.
No, it's got to be, dude.
I really hope.
What else could it be?
Aliens.
Seth, you don't believe in aliens, so obviously it's not aliens.
No. So, anyways, back to the Vet. So, really capable car. Very happy with it thus far, and I look forward to driving it more. Hopefully, maybe I'll take it out this weekend. I'm going to the city. That'd be cool. But
I also bought a car.
Yes, that's what I was getting to next. Now, Tminus has been shopping. And it's been a long time. Tminus, the last exotic that he had was an Acura NSX, which he became infamous for back in the day. He also became infamous for a bit of a decal / bumper sticker that he decided to put on the back, which was in large letters that said, Fuck Osama bin Laden. And that was right after 9/11. And it made waves.
That was viral before viral was a term.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, before Facebook and all this other stuff was around, it was just forums and things like that. People were posting the picture of that everywhere, which was really cool because I distinctly remember it. And this was even before we knew each other.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I had seen that. You had the NSX before we met.
Yes.
So now Tminus has gone some years without having any type of exotic. He has had built cars, which have been, fun and furious and some ricey and some not. And,
I don't know about ricey, but Japanese, yeah.
Yeah, well, when I say ricey, I mean Japanese.
Oh, yeah, it's a different term for, the Japanese people. That's like...
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Cheesy as, ricey.
Yeah, ricey would be more like a Honda Civic with a lawnmower engine.
Exactly.
And a Sprite can.
Lights everywhere. Yeah, all that garbage.
And Domo in the back seat.
Exactly. Exactly. To the T. Correct.
So, Tminus has a Honda CRX, which he calls the Tminus Monster CRX. And by all means, this thing is a fucking monster. I mean, what is it dyno at?
Dynoed at 429 at the wheels.
429 at the wheels, front-wheel drive.
And it weighs 1,700 pounds.
Turbo, 1,700 pound, two-door little coupe.
Right.
this thing is dangerous, okay? It's not fast, it's dangerous. He took me for a ride, and he's like, you might want to hold on for a second. I was like, yeah, okay, it's a fucking CRX. Like, I've had a CRX. Like, not a big deal. And then when he hit the gas and the thing just... And the fucking wheels just started spinning, and the thing just started all sorts of torque steer, and then bolted. I was like, all right, I'm good. Yeah. So,
yeah, Seth was like pretty impressed. I was like,
listen, I do love Japanese cars. We know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got the Conquest, which is done, and the Merkur XR4 Ti, which is not Japanese, but it was a direct competitor for the Japanese turbo
cars. Right, for
cars.
the market, right?
Right.
Sure.
So, I'm into it. And it was definitely an experience. This thing was a little beast. It was almost like, it was like a Honda Civic on steroids.
Right.
It was like, let's give it 100 cc's of like anabolic steroids and let's see what we could do with this thing. And that is when you will push a car to its max.
Right.
That particular car is pushed to its maximum potential. I don't think there's anything else you could do to it unless you really want to change it like a rear-wheel drive dragster, which I've seen.
Right.
But,
or put it on a CRV chassis and then it's four-wheel drive.
Right. But I'm talking about a car that you can drive. It is drivable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's streetable.
Yeah.
And it is a monster.
Yeah, that thing is
so
fast.
Up until now, that was his, that was his toy. That was his fast car.
Yeah.
And, besides his daily driver. So Tminus has been shopping. And he's been shopping now for about a year.
Yep.
And he keeps asking me, consulting with me. He brings me all these ideas of different cars. He's driven like 100 different cars to try to make a decision. And he finally, about a month ago, finally, came to me and said, I think I know what kind of car I want. And you were looking for what brand?
I was looking for a Mercedes-Benz.
At first, but I'm saying, what did you ultimately decide on? What brand?
Porsche.
Right, not make or model.
Right.
Brand was Porsche. And he said Porsche. And I said, you know what? I think a Porsche is a great option for you for several reasons. One, Tminus is over 6 feet tall. There's not a lot of exotics that you could fit comfortably in.
Right. It ruled out the Gallardo, ruled out the Ferrari F430.
Right. It ruled those right out. So he needs something that can accept the height. And for all intents and purposes, we can face the facts that we are not slender gentlemen.
Right.
So we need something.
Especially not me. Yeah.
So we need something with a little room. And so that kind of narrowed it down to, Porsche. And I think a Porsche was a great option because they do hold their value well. Some of them better than others.
Right.
So then we started to narrow it down even further. And then he was looking at Porsche turbos and then Porsche GT3s.
Right.
And ultimately, he decided that he was going to look for a GT3, and he looked. And he was finding ones all over the place, and we were on the phone with people, and he was talking to people, and we're running Carfaxes, and we're checking cars out all over the place. And then we stumbled across a car at a dealership that I have an affiliation with, that I've done a lot of business with, and Tminus has been there also. We've done some photo shoots there, and we came across a... No.
What?
You don't even know what you bought?
2007.
You said 19.
I don't know what I was... I don't know what
Where
I was...
were you going with that?
No idea.
Okay.
I was trying to say 997.
Right. But you came across a 2007...
That's correct. 997.1 GT3.
With, no miles on it.
Literally no miles. Literally.
It's a one-owner car.
Yes.
Absolutely pristine.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a finer example.
Not a single blemish. The wheels you could eat off of. It has all the options, the carbon ceramic brakes, all the full suede interior, the sport chrono. I mean, it has every single option.
Heated seats, heated mirrors, heated wipers, everything. The windshield washer fluids heated.
Yeah. And after negotiating a fair price, Tminus then, I'll tell you, he committed to it, and within 24 hours he bought it.
I mean, Exotic Classics, with the help of Seth, really did the right thing by me.
Yeah, you can check them out at exoticclassics.com. Shout out to Will Branston, who I've been dealing with for some years, who has some of the finest examples in the region here. I can say from experience that will not buy cars that are banged up. He doesn't buy story cars. He does have a lot of cars on consignment, and those cars may have an issue here or there. But the cars that he buys himself, that he represents as the dealership-owned cars, those cars are always 100% plus.
And his customer service is second to none. He's really a gentleman.
Yeah, he's good. He knows what he's doing, and he knows the market. So Tminus bought this car, and it's still there because they actually do exotic car storage. It is winter time,
Right.
so there's really no reason to take it out and
Pull
beat
it
it
out
up
in
on
the
the
salt.
streets.
Right.
But tell us a little about the car.
It's meteor gray. It has yellow stitching on the seats, yellow seat belts. The PCCB calipers are yellow. And it has color matched wheels, but I'm doing actually
Tell us, what are you doing?
Unbeknownst to anybody right now, basically doing a big sponsorship deal from 1552. My good friend Matt Crook from LA, working a deal with Car Lifestyle, and I just want their representation. Basically, we've been wanting to work with them, and he stepped up and was like, "I want to do wheels for you for your Porsche and blah blah." And I was like, "All right, cool." So he's going to be doing the wheels, and then In-Track Tires, who are local to us in New York City, are going to be doing the powder coating.
In-Track does powder coating. They do wheels, tires, alignments, all sorts of suspension.
Really good guys.
They do
Two
lowering
brothers.
kits and stuff.
Two brothers.
Vern and
Jason.
Right.
Really, really good guys. A lot of the people in our tri-state area use them, but they just, they're great at what they do. They're fairly priced, and the customer service also.
Yeah,
excellent.
solid guys. They do really good work. They really do. I've had some work done by them. No complaints whatsoever.
Right, and they'll go out of their way to try to help you. So they're sponsoring me as well for the powder coating, and then the rims and tires will be on, and I'm just going to do a few really minor things, and then that's that. I'm not touching this car. It is, when I tell you immaculate, like you'd have to see it in person.
So you're not going to do any performance upgrades?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
What are your plans for the car? What do you want to use it for? I mean, are you using it for cruising, daily driving, shows, meets? Are you using it? Are you going to track it at all?
No tracking, or at least I don't have any plans to at all. The car is too clean for that. I'm looking to maybe, keep it for, do some shows or some events or whatever it is, a little bit of driving because I'd like to keep the miles down, and ultimately, sit on it for a while and make some money on it. It's one of the few cars you can buy that actually go up in value year after year.
Yeah, they either hold steady or they go up. I mean, they've done very well. I mean, a lot of Porsches have done very well. Even the older ones are just. I mean, they've skyrocketed.
Skyrocketed.
I so wish I still had my slant nose Porsche.
Oh my God, forget it.
That car's now worth like.
Yeah, like
$300,000.
No, it's worth more than that.
I know. Don't even tell me. I'm really not happy about it. So anyway, listen. Good luck with the car. I think it's a great choice. You're gonna love it. It's comfortable. It's a manual transmission.
Yes, sir.
Save the manuals, and you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. So good luck with it.
Thank you so much.
And I'm happy. I'm happy that I was part of the buying process.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for all your help.
Yeah. So now we're gonna move on to something else. We've got a whole bunch of upcoming events that are just really starting to break out there in the news. They are up and coming. Tminus is involved in one of them as a partner, not as a sponsor, but as a partner.
Right, correct.
Which is called PC Blast. There's a company out here called Precision Concierge, which you mentioned before. Mm-hmm. And they're doing a rally called the PC Blast, which is 25 cars. They're limiting it to 25 cars, 5 days, 4 cities. And it is, I believe, hold on. What's the price on this thing?
I think $6,250.
$6,250. So $6,250. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then they end on Sunday. It's a luxury rally. It's starting in North Carolina, and it's ending in Miami.
Right. So we're doing Tail of the Dragon for the first day.
Right.
Which is it's like 113 or 100 and something, 120 turns in 11 miles.
Right. Here's the schedule. Wednesday, which is this is going from March 16th to the 20th.
Correct.
So Wednesday the 16th starts off with a meet and greet at a resort, and then the next day they do Tail of the Dragon, and then the following day, which is Friday, they wind up in Tampa, and then Saturday wind up in Miami. So It's supposed to be, all high-end cars. It's supposed to be a rally. I know these guys. They're decent guys. So here, it's $62.50 per team. That's for 2 people, a car. That includes a branding kit for the vehicle, which is decals, 24/7 support team on the road, hotel accommodations, breakfast and dinner included at each location, nightlife, entrance, and bottle service at each location, and according to them, more surprises to come. So I'm sure they'll have a bunch of swag they give out and stuff like that, and it should be, a good time. So check them out at pcblast.co.
CO.
Right. So Car Lifestyle is a partner with them. They'll be covering the event, just like they did mine, and we support these guys because they support us.
Right. Absolutely.
A couple other ones that were, recently out there. I know there's one now called the Cannonball Run Rally. Mm-hmm. There's Gold Rush Rally. I mean, they're just
Corsa Rally.
Corsa Rally. I mean, these things are popping up all over the place.
Hell
man. Yeah. I don't know if there's going to be a bull run this year. They canceled it last year. I don't know. I think that's run its course. I don't know. I have a feeling. I mean, Gumball Rally, of course. I still want to do Gumball.
Gumballs, that's it. That's the ultimate.
Yeah, I still want to do it just once. Just once. But when it's stateside, I'll definitely consider it. Yeah, but then I consider going overseas has got to be so cool. Taking my car from here overseas.
It's so much better than driving here.
Yeah.
Plus, our roads are boring as shit.
Well, see, that's part of the problem. How many times can you go on the same damn roads?
Seriously. The only difference between you and the commuting traffic is that you're in a Lamborghini.
It's going to get
Think about if you
boring.
were driving around Switzerland.
I know.
Sick.
Not only that, but just to have my car with New York plates on
that's
their
the most
soil,
gangster shit ever.
I think that's cool.
Hell yeah.
And if anybody's interested, we're doing another hunt. We have a spring hunt this year.
Can't wait.
April 9th to April 10th. It's just one overnight. People, we did the turkey rally for charity, which was just during the day, and I put a little questionnaire out there to see if people would be interested in doing an overnight rally, and people were really digging it, so I said, I'll put it together. So from April 9th to the 10th, it's $500. It's one night. And, we're going to hook it up with a nice hotel, luxury hotel. We're going to a casino resort. So bring money. But we have a party there and dinner, and we're going to give out awards. And this is going to be another scavenger hunt. So if you're interested in that, check it out on Facebook. And it's under Spring Hunt 2016 under the Exotics Rally Facebook group. So you can check that out because it's going to be a good time. We're going to have a lot of fun. And we hope to see you all there. But anything else in the news?
No, I think that's about it. I think we're covered.
I mean, it's winter time. Most of the cars are away for the winter. If you haven't done it and your car has been laid up for a little while, rotate your tires, move them around. Don't get flat spots. Check your oil. Don't just jump in your car next time. Start it up and start wailing on the throttle. I think that's a very poor decision.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, we also have the what's it called coming? The New York Auto Show.
New York Auto Show, right?
That's coming. My new car is going to be coming soon.
Oh yes. Which reminds me, as soon as you get that date, let me know because
yes, we have
we're going to be doing
planned.
something special.
We have something very, very planned for my new car, and it's not this crazy car like people. It's kind of funny because when I say I'm getting a new car, people are like, "Oh, are you getting the Pagani? Are you getting the Koenigsegg Agera 1?" I'm like, "No, man, I can't afford that shit.
Oh boy,
I can't,
bro,
or I don't want to."
Yeah, just keep taking poor people's cars. You'll be all right.
Yeah, he's making me out to... What am I, the reverse of Robin Hood?
No, you're like Martin Shkreli.
Who's Martin Shkreli?
What? That's the kid that took over the drug pill company, and he brought the pill from $13.50 to $750 per pill overnight.
Oh, that guy.
He also bought the Wu-Tang album for $2 million.
Why?
Because he wanted to be the one to be the only one to listen to it and not share it with the world. And he was on Power 105, The Breakfast Club, which is basically like it's like a videoed podcast like this, but not podcast, radio show. And he was on there, and he's said to Ghostface Killer of Wu-Tang, if Ghostface was here, I would slap him. Meanwhile, he's like uber nerd.
I was going to say.
Uber nerd.
All right, you know what's in the news? Check this out. Today, at 6:16 a.m. this morning, Top Gear BBC announced who their new team is. Which, I don't know how well that's going to go over, but check out who's in it. Chris Harris.
Yeah, that's cool. I like Chris.
Eddie Jordan.
I don't know who that is.
Sabine Schmitz.
Oh, yeah, she could drive.
Can she?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know who she is.
She's nasty with it.
Rory Reed.
I don't know that.
Matt LeBlanc.
Why?
And it says LeBlanc and Evans. So Chris Harris is in Top Gear. That's pretty wild because everybody knows Chris Harris. He's got a lot of stuff online. Sabine Schmitz. Let's see. Yeah, I guess she races for Porsche.
She's nasty, dude. She could drive.
The Frickadelli Racing Team. Eddie Jordan is the founder of the Jordan F1 team.
I figured that.
Let's see. Matt LeBlanc is an American actor. Everybody's Joey. Let's see.
He was on Friends.
Chris Evans is the BBC's A-list radio DJ, a collector of white Ferraris, and a guy who can either make or break Top Gear after taking the torch from Clarkson. The Stig is Ben Collins' cloned brother, the result of a successful experiment. And who else? Wasn't there somebody else?
I don't think so.
All right, so that's going to be the new dream team for Top Gear.
Good luck.
I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't think anybody can ever beat
You can't, man, because
Jeremy Clarkson.
Because it was the interaction between the three of them that sold the show. The cars were just the icing on the cake. It's about the interaction, like Orange County Choppers. No one gave a shit about the motorcycle. They wanted to see the father beat the shit out of the brother.
Yeah. The son.
Yeah, the son. Right, exactly.
Yeah, they did. That was.
That's the controversy. That's what sells the show.
True. Well, I mean, with all these reality shows, that's what sells it.
Yeah,
it's like all these mob wives.
Right, and like
bullshit.
Clarkson and Hammond would fuck with James May, and and people they want to see that.
So you think it's going to be a bomb?
I don't think it'll have the success of that first trio.
Well, I guess only time will tell.
I'd be very surprised if it has any type of even relative success.
So what else is in the news? Let's see. Oh, you know what we can close off with? Let's close off with this. We got a couple more minutes. In the news this morning, and I don't know if we ever talked about it in the past, but there was a dealership out here called Emporio Motor Group, which was owned and operated by a previous business partner of mine. Thank God it was previous. His name was Bobby Khan. His real name is Afzal Khan. And he basically became a con man.
He's a con man.
Khan became a con man. He was taking people's cars on consignment. He was selling them to third parties, collecting money, not turning it over. And he's been now on the run from the feds for about a year and a half. Well, he decided to write a letter, an email, to a publication in New Jersey that keeps publishing all the different articles on him. And in this letter, he decided to let out a lot of dirty little secrets that he has about a lot of the people that he did business with, in the hopes of making a deal with the government to either have less time on his hands or to minimize his exposure. He's been a fugitive now for a year and a half. There's a bounty on his head. Not much. I mean, they offered $20,000 to the government, which I thought was kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
But he's on the run. Some people think he's in Pakistan, others Dubai, others in Canada, but nobody knows where he really is at this moment. But interesting enough, he wrote this email, which was a very well-written email. I suggest everybody Google Bobby Khan Emporio Motor Group, and you'll see the article written about it. And he decided to call out a whole bunch of people. He decided to call out government officials, police chiefs, and everybody, and says that he has all the evidence to prove that they're guilty. Now, of course, is he guilty? Oh, yeah, of course he's guilty. Did he screw a lot of people? Yes, he screwed a lot of people that are close to me. A lot of the members of Exotics Rally were duped. He owes me money, but at the end of the day, it looks like he's going to take down the whole ship. And he's not just going to be the only one
Should
going
be
with
fun
it.
to see.
So this is going to probably really unwind, be pretty interesting. So again, check out Bobby Kahn, Emporio Motor Group, and it's some entertaining information there. And if you were wronged or if you are part of that group, drop us an email and let us know your story, because we've had several people come forward. It's pretty much a disaster. There's a lot of people out there who lost cars, a lot of people who have cars that don't have titles, and a lot of people who are owed a tremendous amount of money. So with that, we're going to wrap up this podcast. This was like our in-between podcast. I know we've been away for a little bit, but we're back. We're going to get back on our schedule. This is going to be our in-between podcast, and then the next one that we do, podcast 22, that's going to feature, if you want to introduce him.
Well, I mean, we're not... Oh, right. So Bradley, right. So Bradley Farrell, my good friend Bradley. I thought you were talking about the one after, and I wasn't positive.
Tminus' friend Bradley Farrell, who is a car collector of some rare historic cars, as well as has owned some modern-day cars, has now opened up a new auction company, similar to that of like Gooding and Company, where he's going to focus on the very historic cars. And so it's an interesting podcast. So check out podcast 22. That'll launch on March 15th. We're going to drop that one.
Yep.
And until then, keep the shiny side up. Be careful out there. It's winter. Again, your tires are cold.
Watch out for the Repomen.
Don't get silly. Ho, ho, ho. Just another repo. I got jokes all day.
Oh, Jesus.
We help people get back on their feet. You know, I had license plates on all my trucks. You know, they were really cool at one point. One of them said, "Now you walk." The other one said, "Pay your bill." One of them said, "Too late to pay."
Oh, you're the worst, dude.
How am I the worst? The one I have now
You're the worst, bro.
The one I have now says Repo Games.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Our email address is podcast@car-lifestyle.com. I want to hear from people. I want you people to send me an email and tell me if you think that the repo business is great.
Are you leaning towards Tminus' side, or are you
Right.
leaning towards Seth's side?
We want your opinion, because, you know, we debate this all the time. This is not just something that is fictional.
Right, because Seth does fucked up shit all the time.
Yeah, I know. I'm the Antichrist. So I want to hear from you.
You're Jewish, so yeah.
So we want to hear from you. If you have any suggestions on future discussions, on people you want to hear on the podcast, let us know. You know, we'll do what we can to get people
give us
on.
some feedback.
And make sure you get online on iTunes and give us a good rating. We appreciate that. And if we use any of your topics on the air, make sure in your email you put your name and address, and we'll send you out a Car Lifestyle t-shirt. And to the one hater out there, keep hating, because then we're doing something right.
Goddamn right.
So on that note, T,
Peace out.
people can find you at...
Oh, they can find me at TMINUS_car lifestyle on Instagram. You can always DM me. We can talk about whatevs.
And I'll go down my infamous list. You could find me, Seth Rose, at Exotics Rally on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can find me at Art of Rap, NY, ARTOFWRAPNY. And now you can find me at My Vet Rental on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And on Periscope, you could find me at Exotics Rally. On Snapchat, you can find me at Exotics Rally. And at home, you're not going to find me, because I'm always working. And I guess that's basically it. So until next time, be safe out there.
Adios.
And that's a wrap.
Car Lifestyle.